You're now live.
All right, Steve, good luck.
Hey, mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. I'm in such a beautiful, serene environment right now. I'm going to be so sad to leave. How is everybody doing? I could not let this moment pass and acknowledge and do a download on the Sagittarius full moon. This is a flower moon, one of my favorite times because I absolutely love flowers and everything about them. Plus, I'm a little, biased because I have a Sagittarius stellium. That means I have 3 or more planets are in one particular sign. So I have 3 or 4 planets in Sagittarius, and we're talking about major planets in Sagittarius. My moon is in Sagittarius. My Venus or my Mars is in Sagittarius. I should know this off the top of the head. Anyway, happy full moon in Sagittarius coming in on Thursday, 5/23 at 6:53 a.m. coming in at 2 degrees of Gemini and Sagittarius. So 2 right out of the gate is a number of partnership, collaboration, and the 23rd is a 5. 5 is one of my favorite numbers. It's one of my life path numbers. So 2 plus 3 is a 5. So 5/23. We're already coming out of the gate for big change with both in Gemini season. So welcome, happy birthday to all the Geminis out there. Your season has begun, and we have Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is on the opposite wheel from Gemini. So truly a true partnership. So at 2 degrees, Gemini and Sagittarius are going to have a coming together. So number 23 is considered the royal star of the lion. So as we get into the video later, I'm going to tell you about why 5/23 is so powerful of a day. So mark 5/23. It is a full moon coming out of the gate, but there are a couple other aspects. So this is a flower moon because you can see the flowers blossoming. Sagittarius is the 9th sign in the zodiac wheel. And again, its partner sign is Gemini. I want to open it up with a thought from La Officielle, Alicia Ore, says that Venus has joined Jupiter in the constellation of Taurus this May, which is another big reason why May has been so important and lovely. At the full moon, these 2 harmonious planets reach the final degree of the Taurus constellation. So the final degree of any zodiac sign is 29. So 29 degrees. It's also known as the anaretic degree because when it becomes an anaretic degree, it means that it's the fullest concentration of the sign is going to be felt at its most. This moon holds greater wisdom and teachings for all of us. There is always a letting go element to full moons. If we are to receive the bounty offered with this one that expands us into a higher level of worthiness, love, and wealth, we first have to acknowledge and allow the outdated versions of us to fall away. As this full moon draws near, stay curious about what holds your attention and how you may be preventing yourself from your own expansion while you're finding time to celebrate everything that is wonderful and that already exists in your life. So thank you for that, L'Officielle, Alicia Ore. I really appreciate that. I thought that was a great way to kick off this thought about the Sagittarius full moon. The Sagittarius full moon is also considered one of the best and the biggest highlights of 2024. Astrologers, it's arguably considered the luckiest time of the year, this full moon in Sagittarius, because Sagittarius's home planet is Jupiter. Anytime you have Jupiter on deck and involved, you can expect expansion, positivity, optimism. So Uranus and Jupiter are in a conjunction, and they'll be together for 14 years. This started on April 21st. helping us to focus on freedom and what liberates us. So Sagittarius is definitely, I know, is a sign that enjoys its freedom and autonomy. Jupiter is going to be conjunct Venus at 29 degrees in Taurus. So both Jupiter and Venus are benefic planets. They're great benefic planets. And again, at that anaretic position of 29 degrees. We also have a stellium in Taurus still sitting on the gates. When we had the new moon in Taurus, we had a stellium. So the stellium is Jupiter, Venus, and the sun are in Taurus. So, well, that was until Gemini came on deck, but we have a stellium in Taurus. So Neptune is also at 23 degrees of its own sign in Pisces. So Jupiter and Sagittarius, let's talk about Jupiter and Sagittarius, represent wisdom, hope, philosophy, spirituality, higher learning, education. Think wisdom and the quest for truth, trust in the goodness of the life. So whenever Sagittarius comes into play, it's all about trusting in yourself. Sagittarius is also considered a spiritual warrior because they fight for what is just and right in the world. When something happens to a member or friend of a Sagittarian, they will go down on their sword to help fight and give you ammunition and support. Sagittarius is known for their love of adventure, travel, learning, independence, optimism, and they're natural born leaders. Think about all the Sagittarians you know in your life. So in thinking about this, not that it really matters that much, but I love to take a gander of celebrities, like famous Sagittarians. Who are the famous Sagittarians in our world? So when I looked at this list, I was blown away because these are some big names. Not only are they famous, they are massively famous. Miley Cyrus, Brad Pitt, Tina Turner, Sagittarius, Jay-Z, Taylor Swift. I mean, come on, Taylor Swift is gargantuan and she is huge. Thanks for joining, E. Thank you, Rob. So good to see you. Ben Stiller is a Sagittarius. Janelle Monáe, Scarlett Johansson, Billie Eilish, Tyra Banks, Ben Stiller, Jamie Lee Curtis, Jake Gyllenhaal, one of my favorite actors, Julianne Moore, amazing, and Charlie Puth. These are all people that are born under Sagittarius. Again, Brad Pitt, come on, and Taylor Swift, huge. Not only do they have massive success, so if you have a young Sagittarian in your life, just know they're going to do great things in this world. So the Moon, Venus, Jupiter opposition will help boost your intuition. You should have been feeling this since April anyway. Again, normally when these planets come together, it's a positive alignment. It's a powerful time to release goals that we've set. We might have even outgrown already. So even though it's May right now, we may have outgrown the goals that we set for ourselves. And so this transit will heighten your intuition, allowing information from the cosmos to flow freely. So instead of you seeking external validation, you'll be able to turn inward internally to find your own truth. Use the Sagittarian energy of this full moon because Sagittarians are on the perpetual quest for knowledge, which makes them incredible storytellers, entertainers, and creatives, according to Allure.com. Sagittarians can also be very impatient. I know this all too well with my signs, a lot of my planets being in Sagittarius. We want instant results. We like quick action because it's a fire sign. So initially, Sagittarians may boast of great things. Sometimes, and I am so guilty of this, they fail to follow through on time. But if you know a Sagittarian, whatever they put their minds to, they end up getting done. Because Sagittarians are the adventurers. And sometimes because Sagittarians are more concerned, like Aquarius, about their freedom and not being hampered and held back, there may be a bit of a fear of commitment to even doing things that they love and enjoy. So the witty nature, the crazy sense of humor makes Sagittarians able to live through the challenges of life with ease. So the sign of Sagittarius governs the lower half of the body. So when you think of Sagittarius, remember it's a half horse, half centurion, half human, half centurion. So the hips, the thighs, the legs, the lower back, and your pelvis are governed by Sagittarius. If you look at Sagittarians, their legs are typically long, shapely, strong, and it doesn't matter how tall they are. I can attest to that. I've been told I have great legs. The beautiful thing about Sagittarians, though, is they are faithful, intelligent, very sympathetic, but can be very forceful because they're so passionate about things. They are one-of-a-kind people. They are gifted. And Sagittarians are wise beyond their years because of their mix of independence, knowledge, and sensitivity. They are wonderful, loving characters. And again, freedom is one of their most obvious attributes of Sagittarius. So the month of May symbolizes a time, May in itself symbolizes a time of renewal, growth, and the blossoming of life, deeply rooted in spiritual and natural rejuvenation. So May naturally brings rejuvenation because it takes us from spring into the summer. So I read a thought that says there's 8 spiritual meanings for May. Number 1, it's a time of fertility and abundance. Again, with Taurus already being a sign about abundance and groundedness and luxury, then we come in with Gemini and air sign, and we come in with Sagittarius with Jupiter, the planet of expansion, as its home sign. It's a symbol of renewal and hope because as we see the green grasses popping up and the fauna and floral coming back to life, it renews our hopes, connects us with beauty and love because all of these signs, Gemini, Sagittarius, and Taurus, are lovers at heart. They love, if nothing else, they love themselves very much. This is an emphasis on personal development in May. May is, the middle of the second quarter of the year, which takes us to almost the first 6 months of the year. May is an emphasis of a celebration of life and vitality. Mother's Day, Cinco de Mayo, and even I think other celebratory Beltane comes in through the month of May. It's also a period of transition and preparation. We're moving from one season to the next. It's a time of reflection, of searching for your inner beauty and your own creativity. And it's a time of community and celebration. As we gather, we have Memorial Day holiday coming up in May. So it's a time of celebration and gathering. So both Gemini and Sagittarius, we're in the Gemini moon, we're in Gemini season now, and Sagittarius, they rule our personal and professional connections in the world. Some of the aspects tied to this lunation of the full moon is the planet of love. Venus is on deck showing out, and Jupiter, the planet of joy and expansion. So this brings vibrant bounty, and it creates circumstances for us to enjoy our lives and ourselves both personally and professionally. This full moon, it helps you see the best case scenario. I know I've been right in the thick of things. I have things unfolding as we speak, and so I'm having to keep coming back to what is the worst that can happen and what is the best case scenario. So I hope you find the energy of that. Things will move a lot faster with this energy of the Sagittarius full moon because of the fire, and you got the wind. Gemini's an air sign, egging it on and pushing it on. That's why I love when it's a Gemini Sagittarius connection. It's always kind of fun. So we have 3 days for the peak energy whenever a full moon or a new moon is on deck. So you have Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So we go into the weekend. So you can really, really take a moment to pause, set your intentions, and do a little ritual. Don't forget to put your crystals out in the moonlight. They get charged. It's like charging up your Tesla. They get charged and refreshed by the full moon. What else? So a clear option will present itself because, again, intuition is at a high point. Neptune, Venus, Jupiter, these are all going to help us to connect with our desires, magic, and how we feel on a spiritual level. So again, the May full moon marks the start of summer and the end of spring. And this celebrates the weather transitions as we're seeing, which witnesses the blossoming of the flowers and all of the beautiful selection of colors we see through the flowers, especially here in North America. So energy update, 5:21 today, we enter Gemini season. 5:23, so I promised you I had a download about 5:23. So it's coming in, the full moon in Sagittarius on Thursday, 5:23. This is at 2 degrees. So it's all about collaborations. It's about partnerships. It's about connections. It's sextile Pluto at 2 degrees in Aquarius. It's trine Neptune that is opposite Jupiter, the ruler of the full moon at this time. So Jupiter is having the time of its life. It's having fun because Jupiter and Venus are sextile Neptune. This is an auspicious conglomeration. So this full moon in Sagittarius, again, is a time of magic, manifestations, celebrations, cultural immersions, and joy-filled adventures. What is adventure you've always wanted to do? So also on 5:23, Venus in Taurus conjuncts Jupiter in Taurus. So Venus and Taurus are both, or Jupiter and Venus are both in Taurus. They're in a conjunction. A conjunction is meaning they're working together. They're a team. Remember the number 2, okay? So you can feel good that you can see many possibilities are going to open up for you with this Venus and Jupiter in Taurus, okay? And then also on 5:23, Venus and Jupiter are both sextiling Neptune in Pisces. Why is this important? Because traditionally a sextile is said to be a similar influence to a trine, but with less intensity. It indicates compatibility, harmony, communication between two elements, and it provides opportunity. This is a great aspect for 2024, and you can experience a big surge in your imagination, your compassion, your intuition, and you can pursue your spiritual endeavors. You can strengthen the core self of who you are, and you can be generous with others. Thank you for joining. All right, I leave you with this thought from Cosmopolitan. I thought it was a great way to close out this topic of the full moon in Sagittarius. This is a flower moon. Full moons are a time for releasing and relinquishing. I love this. If you have an excess in your life, this is a time for it to go down the drain. And I think this is a message that we can all hear in our quest of wanting to do so many things. And if you follow social media and if you follow a lot of people, they tell you you can have it all. Just because we have a thought and we have a whole litany of things we want to do in our lives doesn't mean we have to do it. We can be refreshed, just inspired by the thought that we want to do it. Through silent meditation, it goes on to say, exchanging of thoughts or spiritual practice, full moons are a point when we can let go. May's full moon in Sagittarius is an astrological hint to reminisce about how much you've grown. Look back to the fall of 2023 when we had the new moon in Sagittarius and see where you are today. The article goes on to say, accept that you cannot force an outcome, no matter how hard you try. But by accepting whatever results happen and allowing your emotions to flow naturally, you can own your experiences. I know the feelings of loss and unhappiness. Accepting if it will be, it will be. Doesn't necessarily make it easier to let go of the outcome you wanted to see. We are all human and we all have emotions. And sometimes our emotions make no sense. Sometimes our emotions leave us more confused on how we feel. So full moons can be a challenging time if you're practicing emotional suppression. So the full moon is about literally howling at the moon, screaming, cursing, letting it go, because full moon's about releasing and letting things go. Look at that cloud, storm cloud coming in. Talk about releasing and letting go. The full moon in Sagittarius occurs again on the 23rd at 9:53 a.m. Eastern time. Astrologically, this full moon is asking us to allow for emotional release because the sun in Gemini is in opposition to the moon in Sagittarius, reminding us that everything we see is not how it actually is. Remember, perception, our perceptions. Sometimes we foolishly allow our ego to dictate how we express ourselves, which gets in the way of us honoring our emotions. We are emotional beings, folks. That's one of our gifts that God gave us. The ability to be able to emote and express how we feel is a gift, not a curse. I assure you. Let it out, journal it out, scream it out. Please let it go. And that air of Gemini will help you do it, because Gemini and Sagittarius are both very vocal signs. If you know any Sagittarians and Geminis in your life, they have a lot to say. You can ask them your opinion and you will get an earful. Even if you don't ask, you'll get an earful. But they're very highly intelligent, and seeking truth and knowledge is so important. So this Gemini Sagittarius energy is so powerful. So enjoy this full moon in Sagittarius coming in on Thursday. We have 3 days to capitalize on its peak energy. Cleanse your crystals, cleanse yourself, let everything go, and trust. This is a very, very positive time. Have faith, have positivity in everything that you're dreaming and planning, and it will come true. That is my signal to leave. Look at the sky. I'm going to be so sad to leave this beautiful island of Maui. Wow. We'll talk about that later. But for now, I bid you adieu. I'm being cleansed and healed as we speak in this beautiful, beautiful place. Namaste. Take good care. And I will catch you again in the new moon in Gemini the next time I show up here. And don't forget to watch or go to Astridologie. That's ASTRIDLOGIE with Astrid. Astridologie with Astrid on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm going to do a download of how this full moon in Sagittarius is going to affect your particular zodiac sign. Thank you, TV Confidential, Ethan Kastenberg, Hassan Hosseini, 151, and One Rare Bird for joining today. Namaste.